Did you know that the English language is over 1,400 years old? That's older than the tallest tree in the world. It's fascinating, isn't it? This language, which we use every day, has been around for centuries, evolving and changing with time. It's like a living, breathing entity that grows with us. From Old English to Middle English, and now to modern English, it's been quite a journey. Now, isn't that something? Let's dive into our lesson for today. Ever heard anyone say break a leg and wondered why they're wishing for someone to get hurt? Well, hold on to your hats because we're about to dive into the amusing world of English idioms. Here's a quirky fact. When someone says break a leg, they're not actually hoping you'll end up in the emergency room. Quite the contrary. This phrase is a peculiar way of wishing someone good luck. You're probably wondering why such a bizarre phrase for something as positive as luck. Well, that's the beauty of idioms. They're not always what they seem. This phrase is especially popular in the world of theater. Picture this. An actor is pacing nervously backstage, their palms are sweaty, their heart is pounding. Along comes a fellow actor who, instead of saying the usual good luck, says break a leg. Why? It's a superstition in the theater world that wishing someone good luck is actually bad luck. So they flip it around and wish for something that sounds unlucky, hoping the opposite will happen. Think of it like a cheeky wink to the universe, a way to trick any lurking bad luck into thinking it's already done its job. It's a funny, ironic twist on well-wishing that's sure to get a chuckle. So next time you want to wish someone luck, try saying break a leg and see their reaction. No, bite the bullet does not mean literally biting a bullet. Boy, that would hurt. Now imagine if you were an old-timey soldier on a battlefield without any fancy medicines or painkillers. What would you do to brace yourself for a painful procedure like removing a bullet? You'd bite down on a bullet, of course. That's where the phrase originates from. Nowadays, we don't usually find ourselves in such dire situations, thankfully. But we do use the phrase bite the bullet to mean facing a difficult or unpleasant situation bravely. It's about gathering your courage, pulling up your socks, and tackling whatever challenge is in front of you. Let's illustrate this with a funny example. Imagine a young boy named Timmy. Timmy has been putting off cleaning his room for weeks. Every time he steps into his room, he feels like he's entering a jungle. There's a mountain of clothes on the bed, toy soldiers battling on the floor, and even a few mysterious objects lurking under the bed. It's a mess, but one day Timmy decides to bite the bullet. He rolls up his sleeves, puts on his bravest face, and gets to work. By the end of the day, his room is sparkling clean. Timmy faced his fear and tackled the task head on. He bit the bullet. So next time you're in a tricky situation, remember Timmy. No matter how scary or difficult it seems, you too can bite the bullet. Remember, when you have to face something tough, just bite the bullet and get it over with. And no, kick the bucket does not mean kicking an actual bucket. Now, let's dive into this quirky phrase and its rather unexpected meaning. In the world of English idioms, kick the bucket is a humorous and somewhat lighthearted way of saying someone has died. Yes, you heard it right. It has nothing to do with soccer skills or any bucket-kicking competitions. Imagine, if you will, a story of a farmer named Bob. Bob was known across the county for his prize-winning pigs and his ever-present straw hat. Now, let's say one day, Bob didn't show up at the annual county fair. If someone were to ask, "Where's Farmer Bob?" a friend might reply, "Oh, didn't you hear? Bob kicked the bucket." Now, this doesn't mean Bob spent his last day in a kicking contest with a bucket. It's a playful way of saying that Bob, unfortunately, has passed away. It's a phrase that originates from the medieval times, when an actual bucket was used in a rather grim method of execution. But don't worry, these days it's used more in a tongue-in-cheek manner to add a bit of humor to an otherwise somber topic. So remember, idioms aren't always what they seem at first glance. They are one of the many things that make the English language so rich and fascinating. So if you ever hear someone say he kicked the bucket, don't start looking for a bucket on the floor. What if I told you that the ball is in your court does not involve any sports at all? Now, before you start looking for a tennis racket or a basketball, let me clarify. This phrase is actually a figurative expression in English, and it's quite a fascinating one. Imagine a game of tennis. When the ball is on your side of the court, it's your turn to swing your racket and hit it back, right? Well, the ball is in your court works in a similar way. It simply means that it's your turn to take action or make the next move. It's your responsibility to respond or react to a situation. Let's picture a funny scenario. Imagine you're a detective on a wild goose chase for a missing piece of cake at a party. You've interrogated everyone and the last person says, "Well, detective, I've told you all I know. The ball is in your court now." They're not asking you to play a game, but they're saying it's your turn to make the next move in this cake mystery. So whether you're solving a cake caper, deciding on dinner, or making a major life decision, the ball is in your court is a fun way to express that the next move is yours. Remember, it's not about sports, but about taking your turn to act. So if someone says the ball is in your court, know that it's your turn to make a move. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? We've covered some really interesting phrases today. Break a leg, bite the bullet, kick the bucket, and the ball is in your court. Remember, these phrases aren't meant to be taken literally. They're just unique ways of expressing different situations in English. Are you ready for more? Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll uncover the hilarious origins of more English phrases. Until then, keep practicing and remember, don't literally break a leg.